Hello, my name is James. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Upgrade puts the main mystery on hold to dive into an unusual subplot. While we're always excited to see Saanvi get some screen time, this episode's cult arc felt a bit out of place. Manifest has had a difficult time working her into this season to the point where Saanvi has felt more like a supporting character than a lead. Nevertheless, Upgrade feels almost like an episode of Riverdale with a hostage situation straight out of Stephen King's Misery. A nurse at Saanvi's hospital jokes that she's only 2 hours early rather than 3 to start the day. She takes the fun ribbing in stride, however her day is about to get a lot worse. A frenzied woman named Alice begs for her help since she's a doctor. Turns out Alice's husband has a terminal cancer diagnosis and no doctor is willing to help. After reviewing his case file, Saanvi agrees to meet him, but she doesn't have high hopes. At Alice's apartment, Saanvi has to deliver the tough news. Her husband isn't going to survive, and the best thing Alice can do is make sure he's comfortable. Unfortunately, this is not the news Alice was hoping for. She snaps and demands that Saanvi heal him because she's returned. Yes, Alice is a part of the cult Manifest introduced earlier this season, which worships the Flight 828 passengers. Things escalate quickly when Alice strikes Saanvi across the face before pulling a gun on her. She forces Saanvi back into the room and locks the door behind her. However, Alice's husband isn't a believer. He encourages Saanvi to lie and say he's been healed so she can escape. However, she's not willing to do that. Instead, she wants him to talk Alice down so his wife won't spend the rest of his life in jail. As she sees it, the two of them were lucky enough to find each other in this crazy world. Their conversation once again brings up Saanvi's mysterious no-show boyfriend. Could this guy actually be Zeke? It seems like Manifest is setting up a Jared/Michaela/Zeke romance, but this could be the kind of twist which could throw everyone off. While this could be an interesting wrinkle, we're pretty dedicated to a Saanvi and Ben romance. Speaking of Ben, he's on edge throughout this entire episode because of Saanvi's disappearance. He visits her office to try and figure out what happened but stumbles upon a pamphlet for the cult. Saanvi's name and hospital are scribbled on it, which makes Ben realize someone from there must have targeted her. He heads down there and discovers Adrian, the passenger from earlier this season, is leading the entire group. Unlike his frustrated attitude from his previous appearance, Adrian is now very relaxed. Ben doesn't buy it, but he puts his reservations on hold. Instead, he checks out the prayer bulletin and matches the writing on the pamphlet to some prayer requests. He calls Michaela and the two head to Alice's apartment to track down Saanvi. However, the two are able to see Saanvi held hostage in the window and Michaela immediately calls for backup. Ben isn't going to wait around when Saanvi is in trouble and marches head first into the building. Have we expressed how much we love this pairing? He lies his way up into Alice's apartment but leaves the door open so Michaela can sneak in. While Alice won't lower her gun, Ben pretends to start praying so they can save her husband. Eventually, Michaela is able to sneak in and disarm her before things can escalate further. Unfortunately for Michaela, she spends the majority of Upgrade dealing with her personal life. Lourdes has a hunch that Jared is pulling away from her because something has been going on with Michaela. The two best friends get into an argument outside of the precinct when Lourdes finally asks if something is going on. Manifest does a decent job of trying to give both sides a perspective in this fight. For Michaela, it's only been a few weeks since she discovered her fiancé had married her best friend. However, for Lourdes, this was her husband and best friend having an affair. The two understandably don't part on great terms. Especially when Michaela expresses her disappointment over Lourdes not showing up at the terminal upon her return. After helping out Saanvi, Michaela heads to Lourdes to try and make up. Unfortunately, Lourdes has taken off and only Jared remains. While we really love Jared and Michaela, it seems like she needs some time off before getting back together with him. On one hand, it's sweet that he's willing to fight for her now. Yet, he did still cheat on his wife and her best friend. Not to mention he's more than willing to throw away his marriage without a blink of an eye. These past few episodes of Manifest have really made an argument that these two need to spend some time apart before they can get back together. Manifest pairs up Zeke and Grace in Upgrade to try to discover the latest calling. When staying at Michaela's, Zeke has a new calling of a wolf trying to attack him. Unfortunately, Cal has the same one and he's too terrified to tell anyone about it. For Zeke, spending time with Cal seems to be therapeutic. He initially pretends like he's not great with kids, but a flashback with his sister shows us otherwise. Grace encourages Zeke to keep pushing Cal because she knows this calling is happening for a reason. He agrees and eventually discovers Cal doesn't want to draw the calling because he thinks that means it'll happen. His current line of thinking is that he draws the future, not that he can predict it. To help mediate this, Zeke tells him to draw something and see if it'll happen. Naturally, Cal decides to draw stacks of money on his kitchen table. Sadly, the lottery does not strike the stone home, so he winds up drawing the calling for everyone. This latest calling shakes everyone to their core. What exactly is it? A wolf trying to attack none other than Michaela. She's at the waterfront as the NYPD pulls out a van from the water. Inside, a man is still alive and lunges at her when she opens the door. What does the wolf mean? Is there a new danger lurking around the corner for her? The cult is definitely going to play some role in the story moving forward. Ben confronts Adrian over his false prophecies and how it led to Alice's arrest. He doesn't actually care about these people though. He just likes that they worship him. By the looks of that final shot, his flock is growing. The Major also has a man on the inside who is ecstatic to find Ben at the church. She's interested in seeing how Ben reacts to Cal's abilities and wants to continue surveying the family. Manifest is certainly one of the more ambitious shows currently airing. However, Upgrade demonstrated some of its difficulty handling all of these storylines. The cult was only seen in a short scene in an episode before the mid-season, but it appears here out of the blue. Saanvi has barely gotten her own storyline this whole season, and the show is finally introducing a new wrinkle in her arc. We wish the show would answer some of the mysteries, like who Zeke is, what the Major wants, or if Captain Daly time traveled, before introducing even more dilemmas. What did you think of this episode? Be sure to tell us in the comments section below.